Hi, called Puri Piso here. In that manual of psychopathic delusions written in the 4th century or 5th century called the Bible, the Vulgate, the Jews are labeled as Christ killers. They're responsible for Christ being killed because they say, let his blood be upon us and our descendants. That started the whole thing. Christian Hitler imitated that in his Mein Kampf, his Bible, and since then, well, all the crusades, inquisitions, everything, they always keep that in mind. Let's kill the Jews. And now you see the Odessa. Of all the delusion-inducing religious neurological disorder, Christianity is the worst. The record is there for all to see. Look at the Vatican, the protectors of Nazis and criminals and the Christ killers.
Now this is the way the Basilica of St. Peter's looked like. It was a courthouse. Basilicas were a courthouse in the Roman Empire. They attend all the business of the people and everything. They were, of course, supervised by gods. Of course, everything was sacred, but they were basilicas, courthouses. This is the way after Constantine took over. He transformed it. There's the way it looks.
World War II ends. Top Nazi officials scramble to evade capture. Some may have used U-boats to take them abroad, but a far more sinister escape route has recently been revealed. Catholic priests have been involved with leading Nazi war criminals since before the end of the war. The Vatican State has had to survive the fascist regime of Benito Mussolini. Italy surrenders to the Allies. Hitler is furious and orders German soldiers to invade Italy. But not all Catholic priests are opposed to the presence of the Nazis. Many of them are fiercely anti-communist. They support a hard line against Italian left-wing partisans. A few are active supporters of Hitler. One of them is Bishop Alois Hudal, an Austrian-born rector of a seminary for German priests in Rome. He is also a registered and active member of the Nazi Party. In August 1944, Hudal becomes involved with a papal organization established to help refugees. They assist refugees by issuing them false identity documents. The organization is intended to help Jews and other victims of Nazi oppression, but it is also used for other purposes. In 1945, Hudal is chosen by the Pope to be his representative for the German-speaking people in Italy held in internment camps. This brings Hudal into contact with many top Nazi fugitives. The most important of these is Walter Roif, head of the security service of the SS in Italy. Before his post in Italy, Roif is involved in the persecution of Jews and Slavs in Poland and West Russia. He invents the mobile gas chamber, which kills at least 100,000 victims. When the German army in Italy surrenders in 1945, Roif obtains a false passport, but it doesn't get him far. He's quickly tracked down by US forces and arrested. A Catholic priest transfers him from prison to an American Army hospital. He is later released. American intelligence agents then take him into custody. What they do is shocking. They debrief Roif about communist activity in northern Italy. He is so useful to them, they release him from jail. He turns to his apartment in Milan. He gives Roif money and a Red Cross passport to Syria. But instead of fleeing, Roif returns to Milan to set up a Nazi escape line with Hudal. They are assisted by an SS colleague who has made a fortune with counterfeit money. This money helps fund escapes. Roif and Hudal's secret network ends with Nazi criminals boarding ships in Genoa for either the Middle East or South America. There, one of many safe houses that sheltered escaping Germans was Schloss Ramitz. A former Nazi hunter describes what happened inside.
Many nationalities. There were Poles, there were Croatians, there were Hungarians. Hide himself very easily and was very difficult to find.
Increasing evidence of Bishop Udall's work with Nazi war criminals threatens to become a scandal for the Vatican. In 1952, Udall is forced to resign, but that is not the end of the Vatican's involvement. Catholic priests are also said to organize the flight of many top non-German collaborators. One of these is Ante Pavelic, leader of the Nazi puppet state responsible for barbaric acts against Serbs, Jews, and Gypsies. 500,000 people are massacred by them. Many others are forced to become Catholics. The Vatican is broadly sympathetic to Croatia. It sees it as a frontier state in its rivalry with the Orthodox Church in Serbia. The Pope even supports the activities of Pavelic by giving him an audience against loud Allied protests.
Here is a true believer Christian Hitler living church. His aim was to kill the Christ killers, as well as all his troops and people that actually were devoted
Once
Christian.
dubbed the most dangerous man in Europe by the Allies. At the end of the war, Skorzeny gives himself up to Allied forces, but in 1948, he escapes from prison with the help of SS colleagues dressed as US soldiers. Skorzeny then enters the murky world of Allied intelligence, making contact with US agents. They help him set up an import-export business in Spain. Spain's fascist leader Francisco Franco is sympathetic to the Nazis. Skorzeny sets up his own escape organization called Die Spina, the Spider. He establishes a network of safe houses in Spain and the rest of Europe. Beata and Sergei Klarsfeld also go in search of Walter Roif, one of the early architects of Odessa and inventor of the mobile gas chamber. In 1966, he's tracked down in Chile and gives a rare interview. Many top Nazis who thought they had escaped justice have finally met their end. In 1992, the final revelation that proves the existence of Odessa comes to light. That year, Carlos Menem, president of Argentina, orders government and public offices to open up their Nazi files. They are handed over to the National Archives Office in Buenos Aires for The files reveal a widespread European network in which the Vatican, corrupt officials in the Red Cross, and sympathetic government officers in Spain and Italy all help Nazi criminals escape justice. The tales of Odessa are finally proved true. It is a grim and extremely disturbing revelation. Beatriz Gurevich is an Argentine historian.
Here's the evidence.
Here's
the evidence.
Organizations to explore the
Christian retards.
The file on Mengele reveals that he entered Argentina in
Hitler was a
using
Christian.
in the name of Gregor Helmut, issued
Nazism
by the International Red Cross.
Came because of Christianity.
When Gurevich looks for further
Infection in
information,
Europe.
she's stonewalled. Frederick Forsyth were right to tell the story of Odessa, even if it took years to silence their skeptics.
Exactly. The Vatican is behind it. Fascinating.
Nazi criminals avoided capture.
I wonder why.
Around the world by a highly organized and well-funded group.
Pious Christianity.
Its influence extended from the Vatican to the Red Cross to the U.S. government itself.
Yep.
Christ psychosis infected America, and many other countries have always protected the Jewish Christ killers.
An untold number of Nazi officers have never been located.
They're hiding the Christian
Their
friends.
crimes would go with them to their grave.
They probably gave him a medal because of Christ. They killed the Christ killers.
Greatest secrets of World War II.